The couple lived in a strange place where they were always opposite to each other. One was upside down and the other was right side up. In this kind of living pattern, the two of them never spoke and spent each day in indifference. One day, the grandfather accidentally broke the antenna on the television. He went to look for repair tools but found the grandmother's dancing shoes by chance. They had been happy when they were young. Looking at the worn-out shoes in his hand, the grandfather suddenly thought of an idea. He sat down at his workbench and began to fix the old shoes, planning to give them to the grandmother as a gift. It turned out that day was their wedding anniversary. The grandfather tidied his hair and went to the grandmother's side. But as he was about to give her the gift, he accidentally bumped her head. The grandmother got very angry and knocked over the gift box the grandfather had prepared. In retaliation, the grandfather deliberately spilled the coffee that was on the table onto the floor. They had a fierce argument, venting their inner frustrations. The house began to shake continuously because of their quarrel. They were fighting over the old wedding photo, and neither of them was willing to give in to the other. Just then, the wedding photo fell on the grandmother's side. At the same time, the house landed on the ground and their positions in the room changed. The grandmother stood on the ground and walked outside to enjoy the view. The grandfather was very worried and wanted to go after her but almost floated out of the window. The grandmother saw everything but still left resolutely. The grandfather sat in the room holding the repaired dancing shoes, feeling a bit angry. But he couldn't stop worrying about the grandmother. So he tied the sofa with a rope and then jumped out of the house. He took out a telescope to try to find the grandmother, who had already walked to the river. She was also worried about him. The grandmother came back home and saw the grandfather sleeping on the sofa. She was moved by his actions. When she returned to the room, she finally found the grandfather's gift and realized it was a pair of repaired dancing shoes. The grandmother picked up the wedding photo that had fallen to the floor, hung it back on the wall, and then went to the shoe cabinet to take out all the shoes. The noise in the room woke up the sleeping grandfather. He came back home and was tripped by the shoes on the ceiling. It turned out that his wife had nailed all her shoes to the ceiling. Then she climbed up to the ceiling and slowly walked toward the grandfather. In the end, they embraced each other tightly.